Hello lovely people.
Hi.
And welcome to another episode of Ask Your Lesbian Moms. That's us.
That is.
We are also lesbian mums to be.
Yeah.
To this little one down here.
I don't know if you can really tell or see my bum that well. Like.
As this video goes out, Claudia is 33 weeks pregnant, but
Ta-da.
yeah.
This is a boyfriend cut shirt that I've had for years. I just wear what I normally wear. Why do you have to wear something different when you're pregnant?
I wear a lot of belts.
You can wear the same thing, but just
The belts would just be much higher.
Yeah, that's true. Until your boobs start touching your belly. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
Jessica said it's not going to happen because my boobs aren't big enough, and I was like, well, they might get big enough.
And today's episode is sponsored by Best Fiends, one of my absolute favourite mobile games, so I'm very excited to talk to you about it.
Yeah, we've actually both had it on our phones for about the last 4 years or something, haven't we?
Quite a while.
Maybe longer.
Best Fiends is a puzzle adventure game where you build a team of fiends as you level up to fight back against the mean slugs who are taking over the land. Now, early levels seem pretty simple, and you can actually just definitely play the game casually. But if you are an experienced mobile puzzler like me, then there are certainly things to sink your teeth into. I'm particularly fond of Best Fiends for its diagonal matches and ability to layer bonuses, so by moving smartly you'll actually be able to get more points for fewer moves. Top tip! You collect cute characters as you go, but you can only choose 5 per level to help you, so which 5 you pick can really affect how you play the game and can be the difference between winning and losing. So keep your eye on that one. There are also daily events, meaning you can win something new every time you open the game, and for the ability to connect your Facebook account, you can play it against your friends and, you know, show them how massively superior you are at puzzle games. Or not. Not is also fine. I'm sure you've heard of Best Fiends before. I mean, it's an award-winning game after all. But whether you never had a chance to play previously or you just haven't for a while, now is the perfect time to start the journey once again and become the hero of minutia. Along with some amazing feature film quality animations and graphics, simply click my link in the description below to download the game for free and get $5 worth of gold and diamonds, again for free, when you beat level 5. So if you're new here, we do a thing called Ask Your Lesbian Mom, where we
Answer your questions.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes you just need a mum who you can ask some questions to. And hey, lots of people in the LGBTQ+ community don't necessarily have a great relationship with their parents.
Or no.
an older figure that they can go and ask some questions to. She says like she's old.
Or know any lesbians.
We ask questions on our joint Instagram at Jessie and Claude, which you can go and follow us at. The link is down in the description. For any questions that you might have, any advice that you might be wanting an answer to.
From non-experts.
For God's sake. Take everything she says with a pinch of salt.
Indeed.
Right, this is one of the most asked things every time we do one of these. How do you ask a girl out?
That is the most asked
I'm
question.
gay and I have social anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have social anxiety, I think it's kind of scary asking anyone out. But then especially when you've just like, kind of accepted or realised that, or you know, maybe you've always known, but that you're gay. Asking someone out of the same sex, scarier.
Yeah. Sort of exposing your own sexuality.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, because you're basically, not only are you asking them out, you're coming out to them all in one.
You are.
I mean, I don't think this is answering their question. They know all
no,
this.
it's not. We're just layering on the upset.
I don't think Jessica ever asked anyone out in her life.
I think that's probably true.
See? Did you go around like saying I'm gay, like on you, so people would come and ask you?
Yeah, I just told them I was gay and made my interest in them incredibly obvious, and then waited for them to ask me.
That is one good tactic though, because
Oh, thank you.
It doesn't leave you in such a vulnerable position either,
It
because if they like you or are a little bit interested already, then they'll get the hint. But if they're totally like not interested, then they won't get the hint and they won't act on it.
Also, plausible deniability.
Yeah.
If you don't try, you never win. So if you really, really like someone, you're going to regret in 5 years' time that you didn't try more than you're going to regret that they turned you down.
Yeah.
So the advice is, if you feel safe, go for it. The only time you shouldn't go for it is if you feel like you are outing yourself and they may put you in a position of danger by you outing yourself. But otherwise, you go for it, honey. Do you agree with the idea that you shouldn't get into a relationship until you've processed all of your own baggage? Or do you think that's something you can do along with a new partner?
from personal experience. Is that why you were like giving that question to me? I would say that you can go into a relationship. It would be a bit unfair to say to yourself, I can't start a relationship until I've dealt with my own baggage. Because sometimes I think a lot of times actually, part of dealing with your baggage, being able to get emotional support from someone else, which is what I got from you.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of traumatised people out there, and to deny them romance seems a little bit harsh.
Deny yourself romance, saying, oh, I'm not worthy of someone's love until I've sorted out my stuff.
Yeah.
Is, not realistic. And everyone has some kind of baggage as such. It kind of just makes you who you are. I personally think there's an element of trust and vulnerability go hand in hand. And actually, to make a good relationship or know that that's going to be a good relationship, you have to be a bit vulnerable and trust that person with your vulnerabilities. And that might be telling them about some of your trauma or baggage as such. And then how you deal with it together is then what makes you work as a couple.
I think if you find that person, I think go for it.
Also, you'll just find them when you find them. You can't really choose the time.
Exactly. So. Will your child call you mum and mummy, or what will they call you without there being confusion about who is meant? We did float the idea of being Mummy and Bobby, because Claudia calls me Bobby.
Yeah, it's kind of turned into Bubba, isn't it? Bubba, Bobby, Bobs. I call you Bobs. Anyway, it's all different types. Bobby, Bobby.
It's much easier for me to...
For that reason alone, I don't think we should call it, the child should not call you that, because sometimes you'll be Bob and sometimes you'll be Bab. And where's your parents, darling? My Babby's over there.
We've decided to be Mummy and Mama. One of the reasons I don't like my name being abbreviated to Jess is because I can't hear it. So when someone says Jessica, all I get is the icka at the end. I do not get the start of my name, I can't hear it. So I think Ma, Ika, Marka. Yep, it's me.
Marika. Maybe it should be Marika.
Maybe it should be.
Okay, we've had a few questions about weddings and planning weddings and trying to...
Apparently a lot of you are planning weddings right now.
Well, I guess they've all been on hold for at least a year. I know. So anyway, a lot of you have asked about trouble trying to please both sides' families. And do we have any experiences of that? And would there be any advice if we did it over again? Would we change anything?
Yes. Yes. Forget about everyone else. Would be my number one thing. Don't listen to what they have to say.
Okay,
it doesn't matter.
Jessica's trying to be diplomatic and not offend anyone. Our advice would be, which is what we did at the time and actually was pretty good, is effectively what you're doing is you're inviting someone to have dinner with yourselves and have a lovely day or evening. Would we go out to dinner and pay for their meal and have a good time with these people? And if they were like a no, they didn't get an invite. Pretty much. There are some exceptions, obviously, with family that you can't do that.
I mean, the joy of COVID, though, is that you're kind of a little reduced to numbers. You're like, oh, what a shame.
Yeah, you can use that as an excuse.
However, in the same breath, the grief isn't worth it, to be honest, because your marriage is about your marriage. It's not really about your wedding day. And if you feel like your mother-in-law is going to give you a terrible time for years and years to come because you didn't put her favourite flower on her table while she was eating her dinner, then
don't get married.
Jesus Christ. Put her flower on her table. Jesus. Save yourself that.
You just did opposing...
I can be contradictory.
Yeah, only think about yourselves. And then
it's a flower. It's one flower. I'm saying in a grand scheme of things, do you plan on having more children? Yes.
Yes, we do plan on that. Moving on. A few questions are like, how do you know you're with the right person? What was the biggest sign that you knew each other was the one?
And one that says, do you think fast-moving relationships burn out faster? And I'd just like to say, because 7 years later, we're having a baby, so.
Yeah, but not because we're bored of each other and feel like we should add a third person into the mix for to make it a little bit more interesting. On the contrary, actually, we're introducing this person into our lives and we're having little mini panic attacks.
Yeah, we are.
But there's going to be someone else in our lives. I'm not sure if I'm prepared for that. I haven't spent enough time with just you.
We're very close to each other.
Questions about how did we know we were the one for each other?
Yeah.
Did we ever fear about how fast paced it was moving and that it would also burn out fast?
No.
I did. I don't think I had a fear about how fast it was moving until we got engaged. Up until I was like, hey, yeah, well, will you marry me? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then she went around telling everyone. We got engaged after 4 months and we've now moved in together. And for some reason, her telling everyone that got me really like a bit freaked out.
You proposed to me!
I know, but I'm just telling them. I got a bit freaked out by it all. So we had a long engagement, and I did have some cold feet a few times, didn't I?
Oh yeah, she
freaked out.
Fully freaked out a number of times during our quite long
I wanted to call the wedding off on occasion.
She made me ask the official at our wedding whether we could have a fake wedding. Where we basically go through the motion of having a wedding, but it's not legal. And then the woman was like, no.
Yeah. In my mind, I'd like made it like, oh my god, marriage is such a big deal, like things will change. It's the same feeling we have at the moment about having a baby.
I think honestly it was because other people told us it would be so different. And TV told us, and like movies were all like, oh my god, you get married and it's this whole big thing.
You'll lose your voice.
I felt more like myself when I was with you than when I was apart from you.
Yeah, she just sort of made me feel real me. I didn't have to pretend. I don't think you realise that you're pretending to be someone until you don't have to do it.
If you've never been in love, I can only describe it as if you wear a bra, when you take your bra off and you get that feeling of relief and you're like,
great, it's so romantic,
and you
darling.
just feel so good. You're like,
it's gonna be your famous Jessica Kellgren-Fozard quote. Love is like removing your bra at the end of a day. Will we be raising the children Quaker?
So for those of you who don't know, I am a Quaker, a member of the Religious Society of Friends, which is a religion. And you can click a card, which is in the top left of the screen now, to go to a video that tells you what Quakerism is actually about, not just pointing at your head.
I know, like...
There's a card there. In brief, it's based on the ideas of like equality, truth, justice, simplicity, sustainability. I would like to raise our children in Quakerism, and I've always wanted to do that with my own children. I think it's a lovely way to be raised. There aren't any Quaker schools nearby where we live. That's where Montessori comes in. Had to bring it in, but I can't shut up about it.
I thought at some point I might get a word in, like, to say how I felt about this whole, will we raise our children Quakers? But then she moved on to Montessori, so I was like, oh, I guess that's the end of that topic then, This is what she means by like, we have sort of discussed it. I lecture Claudia about it, and then we move on to the next subject.
Now you go.
I was going to say, like, I don't have any religion. I'm not atheist though, I am more agnostic. I was brought up Christian, I have been christened, and I feel like there's a lot of value to having some kind of faith. And because Jessica has like a strong faith and strong values and beliefs on Quakerism as a core principle of way of life, then that makes sense for her to like impose is the wrong word.
Impose is definitely the wrong word.
Share those with her children. If it's like, oh, there's a Quaker meeting, let's go children, and one of them's like, no, then no.
Then no, of course we don't make them.
Oh, okay, good.
That's how it works.
Alright, why don't you go to Quaker Club? No, then they don't.
Then they don't.
Okay, that's alright. How do I find the motivation to finish my dissertation?
Honey, come on now. You can do this. We believe in you. You've worked so hard to get to this point. You're really, really close to the end. All of this effort, all of this hard work, that finish line is in sight. You can do this. Let's keep going. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Typing. Get typing. We can do it.
That's Jessica's advice is giving you a little
a pep talk.
My advice was when I had to write my dissertation and I just couldn't bring myself to sit at my computer and type, and I was just like, you know what, I just need to get words on paper. I drank a double gin and tonic and then I sat there and just typed and just tried to be like, don't think about it too much, just write it. No one is even looking at this right now. No one will read this unless you want them to. So you just type away, and I maybe had more than one gin and tonic, and then the next morning, when I was a bit clear-headed, I go through it and then edit it. And it's actually really good because you just feel like you've got stuff down.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink alcohol, but you just need to the point is you have to just let go and not get too fixated on it being perfect, and just get stuff on the page, and then it's so much easier to work by editing something down.
Yes, we are in no way encouraging you to drink.
But that was mine.
However,
what I did, yeah.
That is a really good plan.
Tip on multiple things there on life really is don't worry, it can be edited.
Yeah! Do you think people have to experiment experiment in order to know their sexuality. I'm struggling to accept my sexuality because my mum is telling me I need to try guys first before I can know I'm a lesbian. What's your opinion on this? Ha ha. Well.
Oh, I mean, actually, that's probably quite a good one to ask us as non-experts, and just purely based on our own personal experience.
Yes.
Is because Jessica has only ever... Sorry.
I've never kissed a boy.
Yes, you've never kissed a boy.
I've never kissed a boy. I've never been near a boy.
You've been near a boy.
Never held hands with a boy.
You've never sniffed a boy's hair.
Ugh.
As you've slow danced, thinking, why do I feel physically sick?
That's Claudia's life experience there, coming through.
I have had boyfriends where I felt very comfortable, and one I was in love with. But that one of my first boyfriends actually happens to be a gay man himself now, married with a kid. And when we dated, I did feel physically sick.
Your gay pheromones were just like boing.
Yeah.
Boing. No.
From my point of view, I dated boys, but not because I was like not sure of my sexuality. At the time, I didn't know my sexuality. I just assumed I was straight. Everyone's on a bit of a spectrum, and I'm probably more towards the bisexual part than completely gay compared to Jessica, because I have dated and enjoyed dating men in the past. But then when I realised that I was maybe interested in women, I didn't feel like I needed to go and find someone to kiss or have some kind of sexual involvement with. I didn't even come out as bi. I came out as gay.
I'm a lesbian.
Yeah, and for me that was like I needed to know that in myself, because I didn't really want to do the whole curious thing.
I think this is really interesting, is that I suppose it seems like we've had quite different stories, but we both had the same thing where we were like, lesbian, and didn't need there to be someone else involved.
Yeah.
And very much felt that this is a thing about me, this is about myself, this is my own sexuality.
Yeah.
Your sexuality is about you. And I also equally just didn't need to try a boy to see whether that was me, because it was a part of me, it was inside myself.
In the same way that I didn't feel the need to try a girl to know and feel confident enough to tell my friends and family that I was actually into girls.
So that wraps up today's Ask Your Lesbian Moms. Thank you to everyone who suggested questions. Remember, you can go and follow us on Instagram at Jessie and Claude. And thank you so much for Best Fiends for sponsoring today's episode. We will continue to be a bit obsessed with their game forever. If you would like to get involved, you can click the link down in the description. You can download it for free. Not only that, when you click the link, you get $5 worth of free gold and diamonds in the game, as long as you beat level 5. So do it now.
You got up to like what, level 200 and something?
Yes.
Jessica's really talented at these sort of things. I just like joining the things, and I'm like, woo, I joined, and then I just like all the animations, but I don't think about actually the game plan.
Yeah, and then she just picks up my phone and she's like, I think I'll play.
And then
darling, I ruined your win streak.
I lost your winning streak. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got to go and be dog mummies now. But again, thank you so much, and we will see you in our next video. Mwah. Bye. Today's Kellgren-Fozard Members Club question comes from Kim. Can you tell us about one of your favourite childhood toys? The light of my little girl life, my doll Laura, who I took absolutely everywhere with me and insisted that the adults in my life handled as if she were a real baby. Thus, when I was 4 and lost her on a ferry to France, I ran around the whole boat yelling, I've lost the baby! And they put out an alert for a stolen child. Don't worry though, she was found and my parents were deeply embarrassed.